Okay, yes, everybody. Thank you for watching with another BOSSCAST. Today we have Carlos Thomas Jr. all the way from Philadelphia, USA. Carlos, thank you for joining us today. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, Jeff. It's been quite some time since we met back in last March before the
March.
pandemic
Yeah,
hit.
yeah. Just before the pandemic really
Yeah.
struck Ohio, because we met at the Arnold Classic, of course, at the competition. So the day when I left the airport, Arnold announced that the audience wasn't allowed to attend the show. So that was a big bummer.
hmm
Why were you actually there for sponsorship or?
Oh no, I was actually there to attend the show.
Oh,
So,
oh,
yep,
okay.
yep. We were actually able to. My father and I. We were actually able to, finagle our way into watching the show, and we were actually able to see prejudging
Mm-hmm.
in the finals. I had some friends in the amateur show, but no audiences were allowed there.
No, no audience were allowed.
Yeah.
So, how is COVID right now where you're staying?
So right now, in the Philadelphia area, we just got out of like a semi like lockdown where certain stores and like gyms and businesses were kind of shut down for a bit. But now they're kind of back to like a restricted opening, semi capacity, 10% capacity. So we're up and running to a certain degree, but we're not
Gyms
full
are still
lockdown.
open. The gyms are still open.
Oh yeah, gyms are still open. Delaware area. I think New Jersey might still be open for gyms. So yeah,
Full
gyms are still
capacity,
open.
or do you have the
There's yeah, there's
reservation?
there's some certain restrictions. So I think it's depends on the size of the gym. I go to a smaller gym, a little local one, so there's only maybe about 10 to 15 people in at a time.
Mm.
So yeah, they operate pretty much unrestricted because of the number of membership they already have. But the bigger gyms, the commercial gyms, they're hit pretty hard.
Yeah, yeah. I saw Gold Gym Venice was closed. I
Yeah.
don't even actually know if it's still open or is it
I'm not
closed
too
for
sure.
good. Or?
No, I think I just heard that over in Venice they just reopened Gold's Gym. California they're one of the states that are taking the
The hardest
pandemic.
beating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're taking the pandemic pretty bad right now. But my area, we're not getting hit too pretty hard. I mean, we have cases, but we're pretty steady, and it's pretty much under control here,
Okay,
my
so
area.
keep it that way. Cool.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know, I'm gonna share your page right now. This
Okay.
is Carlos, I think one of the bigger upcoming guys. You're still an amateur, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about your past. So how was it
Sure.
like growing up? Who's your father? Who's your mother? Do you have any brothers, siblings?
hmm well, yeah, I grew up around here, like right outside of Philadelphia and Wilmington, Delaware. It was, small city, not too big at all. And my dad, Carlos Thomas Sr., he has his own business in plumbing and HVAC. And my mom, she, worked around here as well. I have a sister, and this is a funny part. She's 6 foot and I am 5'7". So yes, I did get the
So
short end of the stick.
you get a lot of beating when you were younger.
Yeah. So my sister kind of got the height, but I got the muscle, I guess. So it all worked out for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of muscle. Yeah.
yeah. So
So how did you came into sport?
yeah. So growing up, I was always like any other kid playing outside a lot. Running around, playing, football in the street. We used to play tackle football like out on the road, getting scars and all this stuff like that. We didn't
Hmm.
even play. We didn't even play on the grass. So yeah, it was pretty mixed a regular childhood growing up playing like sports outside your neighborhood, and then I got involved in organized sports probably when I was around actually a little bit later than most kids. Maybe I was around like 12 or 13. And before that, I did a little bit more like martial arts, Muay Thai, Taekwondo. And then I got into football. I found football. I got into that. And then eventually started running track and a couple other sports in between. But football was my main sport. And I eventually went on to play that through high school and into college.
Okay, so you're 23, 4 right now?
Oh,
Oh,
no, I'm actually older. Man. I'm 28. The,
oh,
the face
20,
the
20.
face
Oh,
is young. The face is young,
the
but I'm
face is young.
28. Yeah.
Okay, so you're starting actually. Did you play high in football or?
Yeah, yeah,
college?
yeah. So I played. I started out at one school in Staten Island, New York, Wagner College, and then I went down to a smaller school in Maryland, and I actually played up until my junior year, so my third year, and then I had a neck injury,
Mm.
um, where I got hurt and lost feeling, and I had to go to like the emergency, and they did all these tests and MRIs and scans, and basically to sum it up, they just said, you probably should consider not playing football ever again. So it was like, hey, okay, I run track in college as well, so I was like, okay, I can continue to run track, but I really love the weight room. All throughout high school and growing up, I really loved just going into the gym and training for football. I think that was like what I think football was the outlet for me for weightlifting. It was something to do to put the weightlifting to use. So I've
Yeah.
always loved the gym. So after that, you know what? I was like, I know about bodybuilding, but I'm not too familiar with it. So I ended up getting into I ended up Googling, like, okay, bodybuilding coach near me, and Fred Biggie Smalls popped up, and I actually ended up working with him as my first bodybuilding coach back in 2014. Yeah, 2014.
Okay, so 2014, that's you were like 21,
Yeah, I was
right?
about 21, and I worked with him for my first show the summer of my first three shows the summer of 2014.
So which shows were that? Just local
Yeah,
starter shows, beginner
the
shows?
yes, the first one was a local show, and then the second one was the Team Universe, so like a national show, and then I did my third show was the um, Teen Collegiate Masters in Pittsburgh, and that was a really good show ran by I think it's Gary Udit around here, so that was great, and then I actually ended up going into my senior year of college. I actually tore my ACL playing football. I tried to keep playing a little bit, and I actually tore my ACL. So that took me out of bodybuilding for about 2 years as I was
Oh.
recovering. Yeah, I was
Mm.
recovering, and also I was finishing my undergrad.
So how did you manage that mentally?
You know what? I was still in the gym. I was training upper body,
Mm-hmm.
um, and for about I actually didn't train legs. Good thing legs was like already like a really good body part of mine.
Yeah, do
So
they
I
grow
actually,
very fast?
yeah,
In
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, because we back in high school in college we used to do squats twice a week, heavy squats, a lot of reps, getting ready for football. So let my legs grew like exponentially, really easy, very easily. And so when I tore my ACL, coming back and rehabbing, it was actually fairly easy for me to put back size on my left leg, the left knee, the one I tore.
Okay, so do you notice any difference now after all those years or no?
I do. In my specifically like more so in my left calf, I can see that it's a little smaller than the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shape of my leg, I'm very meticulous in looking at my pictures like any other bodybuilder. So when I see like my left leg, I'm like, it looks a little different. So I make sure to.
I'm gonna bring up some
Mhm,
pictures.
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of noticed it a little bit, but yeah, that was right there. Uh, so yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I don't really see any difference if I'm brutally honest. I think the size and the shape structure is pretty much the same. What do you see?
For me, it's more so like I know like my left adductor is slightly smaller, but it's probably just the
Mm-hmm.
way that I'm posing that makes it look a little bit better. But I can tell like the quad is more so developed the same. But for me, I feel like the left adductor is just a slightly smaller. But that's of course that's myself being hard on
Critical.
myself and
Yeah.
being critical. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So when we met, you told me you were still in university, right? Studying.
yes, yes. So after graduating in 2015 with my bachelor's degree in communication, um, I took about 2 years off working, just doing like personal training. And I always had a plan to go back and get my master's.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, I also competed. That's when I actually got back into competing in 2017. I got back on stage and I was working with Dave Palumbo.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I working with Dave
So
Palumbo.
how did you come apart with Dave? Just
Um,
online coaching or?
just online. I actually just, I used to watch his RX Muscle a lot, and
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, I'm gonna just reach out to this guy, and he seems pretty knowledgeable. I was still pretty young in the game, even though it had been some years since I first competed. Um, I hadn't really immersed myself in bodybuilding culture until around that 2016, 2017. I really decided to step up my game. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work with Dave Palumbo, and
Mhm.
we ended up placing fifth 2017 NPC Nationals in the middleweights,
Middleweights,
176 pounds.
176 pounds. So that's around 75 kilos or so, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. So how tall are you? Your height, 5 foot.
I'm just 5'7". If I stretch myself a little bit, just 5'7". So yeah,
Okay, and how much do you weigh in the off season?
currently I'm 250 pounds.
250. That's pretty big. Okay, so I'm back to so you did a competition with Dave.
Yep.
Next up was the Team HD or Dorian or no?
Yeah, yeah. So 2 years later after that, I took time off to get ready for do my master's degree in communication with my focus in public relations. So I took 2 years off to complete that. That's when you met me. I was
Yeah,
finishing that degree up,
yeah.
um, and I started working with Dorian. I think around that time in like August of 2019. Nothing, wrong with Dave. We just, parted ways amicably, just moved on to a different coach. Dave
Mhm.
is still a great mentor, and he still assists me from time to time whenever I have some questions or anything. Um, but yeah, so I really started working with Dorian Hamilton out of Canada, Team HD, and it is just great. He took me on graciously when I know that he had like a lot of bigger named athletes, and I was still like a pretty up and coming amateur.
Yeah, he
And at
saw
that point,
probably
when I
saw
worked
that
with
your
him,
potential also. He
yeah,
probably saw some.
when I worked,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But when I worked with him, I was like 180 pounds when I first started working with him. I was 185 actually, and you know, we we just he really took my off season to the next level. So I ate more food than I used to, trained harder than I used to, and really took my off season like I treated my off season like a prep. Because before then, I was like any other person. Well, coming up, I took my off season as an off season. I was like, it's time to take a break.
Time to
And
eat a lot of junk.
yeah, eat and be normal. But when I really started working with Dorian, that's when I was like, okay, this is the time for me. I want to take this to the next level. And I started focusing. My off season was regimented. Meals, food, with the sleep, training,
Supplementation, yeah.
everything, supplementation. Just everything was like prep, but it was just in my off season. And then my body just grew. And started working with So we've been working together for coming up this August will be 2 years now.
Okay, okay. You just finished your masters, or are you still busy with that?
No, I finished my master's not too long after I met you. So in May of 2020, I graduated with my master's degree in communications, public relations, um, and I went on to work for the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay, still doing that, right? Right now?
Yes, yes, working from home. I work for an Alzheimer's disease genetic research lab.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Um, so 2020 was a difficult year for bodybuilding. You had
Mm.
a competition on the planning or no?
Yeah, yeah. So we were getting ready for the NPC Nationals, and we hit about 4 weeks out, no, about 5 weeks out, and this is our first prep together. And I felt as if we felt as if my body was kind of hitting a wall at that point. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up thinking, okay, well, the Arnold Amateurs is in March of of this year now,
Yeah,
2021.
yeah.
So we were like, okay, well, we'll just do a little bit of a reverse for about 4 weeks, and then go right back into prep for Arnold Amateurs. And so we pulled out of NPC Nationals, and we started our
That was
reverse.
in January or
Oh, this was in November. This is
oh
right
November
before November. Sorry.
2019, 2019.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No,
Mm.
2020. Excuse me, 2020. This is last year. So we get ready for NPC Nationals, 2020, and we're around 4 weeks out, 4 or 5 weeks out, and we decided to go ahead and pull out and get ready to do a reverse, and then go into Arnold Amateurs 2021. But as you know, with the pandemic, Arnold Amateurs and the Arnold Classic Ohio got postponed. So we just decided to go into continue our reverse diet and then go into an off season. So that's where I'm currently at now, sitting at 250 pounds, probably the biggest, leanest, and strongest I've ever been.
Okay, so the Arnold is postponed until September, I think.
Yeah,
Is
you
is,
hear
is,
for
is
September.
September? Is that the goal for now this year?
Um, I'm not sure if that's going to be the goal just yet. We're still in the off season phase, and we're at, this week is actually where we scheduled a time to talk on the phone. We're gonna start planning out shows and
Which
see where
shows
we're yeah.
yeah where
So
you're at right now. So you want to get your pro card in heavyweight, super heavy,
it's probably going to be heavyweights this year.
heavyweights, yeah. So do you think you need to grow any more into the show, or?
Yeah, yeah. I think I need to really focus on bringing up my back. I think that's like my weak part, honestly, and just more lower lats and more thickness from behind. I think everything from the front is really
Yeah, it's
competitive.
huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
side. I think my side chest, my side tricep, all the front and side shots are really competitive. But I
yeah.
think the back shot, and I think I have the back shots on that last checkup that you saw. That was back in I think December. But yeah, I think all of the back shots are really need to be brought up. So we're focusing on that.
Yeah, because the delts and the arms are pretty huge.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I guess so. I agree. So need a bit more thickness and maybe a little bit more width to compensate those huge arms, of course, and legs.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So how is your training split looking like right now? Do you do how many times a week do you train?
So right now we're training 5 days a week. Monday we're starting with back, and then Tuesday is chest. Wednesday off, and then well, excuse me, maybe back up. Tuesday is chest and a little bit of shoulders, and then Wednesday is off, and then Thursday is another back, but more isolation and more volume work for the back. While compare that to Monday is more heavy compound movements.
Hmm.
Um, and then Friday we have arms, and then Saturday is legs, and then Sunday today is off.
Okay, so only back twice a week. The rest is one times a week.
Really just focusing on the bringing that back up.
And
So
do you do a lot of volume in that one workout? Let's say chest.
so we switched to doing. I was more volume in the past, but with recommendation of Dorian, I've switched to doing more top sets with a back off type of movement. So we'll work up to maybe like two really heavy sets to failure,
Mhm.
and then I'll do a back off set of the weight's still pretty heavy, but going for more volume on that set. So probably hitting, the top set is maybe 6 to 8, and then the back off set is maybe about 12 to 15, or just until I hit failure.
Okay, okay. And how's your diet looking right now?
Right
Eat a lot
now,
of
yeah, go ahead.
how much calories? Yeah, how much calories you're taking in
Uh,
the off
n-
season?
Not too sure of all the calories and everything. I kind of let the coach handle all that. But it's I could tell you like the portions of like carbs. It's like 300 grams of rice usually with the
Mm,
meals, tapered off at the end of the day. My last meal is usually like 200 grams of rice, or I'll do 80 grams of cream of rice, of the ground rice. So with in the morning, my breakfast is usually like 100 grams of ground rice, excuse me, cream of rice. So my portions, that's mainly what I eat as my carb source is
mhm.
sushi, is white, sushi rice. It just digests very easily. Protein portions are usually around 6 ounces, maybe 8 ounces.
Okay, that's 200 grams, I think.
It's around, yeah, so from around 170 grams to maybe 220 grams.
Hmm. And do you include low carb, high carb, low fats, or moderate fats, high
Um,
protein, low protein?
Yeah. So what I've noticed about Dorian when I first started working with him is Dave is a fan of more, of higher protein, higher fats in the
Hmm.
diets, and
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit
more
less
like a
carbs.
keto. Yes, more on the keto side.
Yeah. So he gave me some carbs, but they were less than I am eating now. So with Dorian, it's more of a kind of like flip flop. It's a moderate protein. So instead of eating like 10 to 12 ounces, like I said, it's more 6 to 8, and then the carbs has gone up. While I don't really do a lot of added fats, I may have some salmon, or I'll have some ground beef or
Beef.
bison, and I'll have like 2 whole eggs in the morning, and then a tablespoon of fish oil. But other than that, like there's really no added fats to my diet.
Okay, curious. No omega supplements on also?
But yeah, I'll do some omega-3
Fish oil,
fish
some more
oil. Yeah.
fish oil.
Yep. I'll
Yeah,
do a
okay.
teaspoon of that. Excuse me.
So, so you don't count any calories. Do you also do that in the prep phase? Is it just looking at your body and say eat less, eat more, or?
Yeah. So in the prep phase, I let him, definitely just take the reins on that. Um, and he's pretty meticulous with, when to reduce food, when to, back off calories, when to do a refeed. Um, so yeah, we just do check-ins during prep, starting maybe like twice a week, and then at some point we'll start ramping up to every day towards it as we get closer.
And when you're starting 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 12 weeks out?
I like to start 20 weeks. It's just how I am. I kind of like to give myself enough time. And then that way I don't feel like I'm going to kill myself towards the end. I've done that before where I start at 12 and you really have to put your foot on the gas sometimes.
Yeah, it depends also how you come
Yeah,
off your off season, right?
exactly.
Do you do any cardio or
Yeah. Which is, speaking of all season, which has gotten better. As I said, each year every
stay
time,
leaner?
everything gets better. I stay leaner because I still consider myself young in the sport. Honestly,
Yeah, pretty
even though I
young,
started
yeah.
in 2014, like I really haven't dedicated too much time until these past 2 years to bodybuilding. So I do about 20 to 30 minutes of of cardio scheduled, like in the morning. That's my cardio. But because I'm working from home, I do get up and I have a
Some
treadmill. So
walks.
yeah, and I'll
Treadmill,
go do
yeah.
like I'll go. It's pretty cold outside, so I'll do like 10 minutes of treadmill walk just to kind of get myself moving around, but nothing crazy, nothing to get the heart rate up too high. But usually I'll do 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, get the heart rate up around 135 to 140 beats per minute.
Okay, cool. So I have some questions for you
Yeah.
from some viewers. First of all, they want to know what's your routine for those big ass legs.
Yeah. So
You think it's more genetic thing or?
honestly, it could be. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like my family are bigger people. My dad, my mom, my sister, just bigger. Like bigger legs. Just bigger bodied people. But I think it's also a lot of the hard work because I was pretty slim going up until I started weightlifting, and
Mhm.
training my legs. Um, so I do generally for legs, I start off with squats. I just love the back squat. I think nothing can replace it, in my opinion. And
Mm.
what I mean, like I'm sure people can work around it and say other things, but it's just something that I've grown up with. Like I said, ever since I was in football, we used to squat twice a week,
Yeah.
and it's just something that maybe it's something that I just love. But I always have back squats in my routine. So I'll start off with those, and then I'll go on to the leg press, and then I'll do leg extensions. And mind you, I'm backing off my volume now. Before I would do maybe a squat, a leg press, a lunge, a leg extension. I might throw a hack squat in there too. So my volume before was a lot higher
What are you doing
now
right now?
than
Yeah.
I'm doing right now. So now I do 3 movements for my quads. I'll do a back squat. I'll do a leg press, a leg extension, and then I'll do 2 movements for my
Hamstring.
hamstrings. I'll do a lying leg curl. I'm just a fan of the lying leg curl. The seated one
Yeah,
isn't
me too.
really something that I really, it kind of hurts my legs a little bit, my hamstring. So I'll do a lying
Mm.
leg curl, and then I'll do a stiff legged deadlift to
Yeah.
just get that stretch.
Okay, you do like 3 sets, 4 sets, 2 sets.
Yep. About three sets on the on the squat. So I'll work up to about 3 sets with a heavy one really heavy top set of about 6 to 8 again, and then I'll do a back off set where I've done 405 for like 20 reps. So at that point, I'll start to increase the weight. If I can get past 15, I'll increase the weight of my back offset.
Yeah.
So I don't get past that number. So again, back offsets ranging from 12 to 15, and I'll keep that pretty much throughout the entire workout. That type of top set, back offset.
Okay. And what do you do for the arms? Because
Arms.
the legs are pretty big, so I can imagine he's not putting a lot of work in the legs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. So the arms, I usually start off with triceps, and I'll do just like a simple cable push down. And again, like back when I was coming up, it was strange. I did a lot of volume for my arms, um, and I would do like just variation of exercises. I'd probably do 4 or 5 exercises for triceps, 4 or 5 exercises for biceps.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's back down now to 3 exercises for triceps, 3 exercises
Yeah.
for biceps, and it's usually just 3 sets, maybe not a back offset, just 3 straight sets. For triceps, I'll go to cable push down. I'll do an overhead movement, and then I'll do a maybe like a dumbbell kickback, or maybe an underhand push down or something like that. And then for biceps, I do incline curl. I love incline curls. I've always kept them in my routine. And then I'll do a hammer curl. I keep them in as well. I'm pretty basic. Um, and then I'll do like a barbell curl. And this is where I'll throw maybe a barbell curl, or a I might do another like type of isolated movement, like a preacher curl or something like that.
Okay, but do you think the more volume back in the days helped your arms grow that fast, or? 'Cause
I think,
a lot of people are struggling with the arm size, right? So I get a lot of questions. How do you
yeah,
get big arms like that?
yeah. Honestly, I think so. I think it's kind of it's all for me. It's almost necessary to kind of to feel that muscle and get that pump, and then once that mind muscle connection builds, and you're able to really work that muscle within a shorter amount of reps and sets, then you can start to kind of maybe taper off the volume a little bit. But yeah, I feel as if starting off with some volume can definitely help you build that mind muscle connection, because you're getting that pump, and then as you get older, you've built the foundation, you've built that base, and then you could probably start to back off a little bit. So that's kind of what's happening now, as I have been training for some years now, for
Yeah.
not only for bodybuilding but for football as well. I've kind of built that base, and now we're seeing, okay, well, um, let's try a different training method, and
Yeah, taper it down a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, and we're reaping the rewards from it too.
Okay, so another question: what is it like to be part of HD and Dorian Hamilton, his team?
Yeah, oh man, it's great. I wish I could go up to Canada right now. They have a gym up there and Pure Muscle. They're actually building Pure Muscle and Fitness 2.0, so I can't wait to go see that. But it's really just a good team up there, man. That's what drew me to it in the first place. Is I went up to visit, and I saw how much of a family they were, and the camaraderie they have, and
Hmm.
they have the Muscle Mansion, where Regan is now living, and Antoine, and Quentin. And so I just think it's just a perfect storm for like a
Environment, yeah,
bodybuilder. And yeah,
yeah,
it's just the perfect environment for like a bodybuilder. So not only do you have like someone pushing you, but you also have someone cheering for you. So
yeah. Okay, so favorite cheat meal?
oh man, I'm simple. I'll do do like burger and fry. People gonna hate on me, but I love McDonald's. They call it trash, but it's good to me. So
Fresh
I
for
love
me
Mc
also.
yeah, yeah. So I'll do McDonald's, sushi if I want something cleaner.
Do you
Um,
go out, or do you stay keep it moderate, or?
right now we're keeping it pretty moderate actually. So
But back in the days, you go all out, right?
yeah, back in the day I had to, you kind of go all out and you get everything you eat like you're never gonna eat again.
Yeah,
But as you get older, you get a little bit more wiser, and you use it more as a tool. Everything becomes, okay,
yeah,
how can this improve my physique, or how can this make me better? Instead of just kind of thinking in the moment, and self gratification. So yeah, burgers and fries, um, sushi, and then if I really want to get a little bit of the dirtier side, Philly cheesesteak. That's the go-to.
okay, cool. So what kind of music do you listen in the gym?
Yeah.
Are you a music guy in the gym, or do
Yeah.
you just yeah?
Yeah, I'm a music guy. I'm more of like sometimes I listen to rap, and then like sometimes I listen to kind of like a rock playlist. So I have a mixed playlist of rap, and then like some hard rock.
Yeah, it's just quite like mine playlist. I think Metallica, some rap,
Hmm.
Wu-Tang, System of a Down, Rage Against the
Yeah,
Machine.
yeah, Five Finger Death Punch in there, and then I have
Yeah,
like some Rick Ross going on
yeah.
in my rap.
So one final question: who is your favorite bodybuilder of this era and of all time?
Oh man, it's funny. You know, because you're good friends with William, and yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite bodybuilders of this time. And it was a real treat being able to meet him at the Arnold last year, and he gave me some really good advice, you know, about using the tools that I have, you know, using school to my advantage, and putting my
Mm.
physical effort in gym, and so I don't have to work a physical job, so I can put all my time into training and bodybuilding. So he gave me a really good advice. So William is one of my favorite bodybuilders of this time. And then for back in the day, I think I just love Kevin Veroni, man. He hits that. He hits
Yeah,
that.
a lot of people saying Kevin.
Yeah, he hits that hands clasp, man. The shoulders, the arms, the chest, the traps, everything just flows. Ronnie, he is undefeated though. He's the goat. He is the goat. He is the goat. But I just felt like I felt like someone when I first saw their physique, and I was like, I kind of want to look like that. It
Yeah,
was it was
yeah,
definitely it was definitely Kevin.
streamlined. Yeah.
Yeah, it was and Kevin
No,
and then Vince Taylor. Those are my two from like back in like the '90s area.
okay, cool. Do you have any transformations on your page, or
I think I might have one. Um, I can't remember.
let me see if we can find some.
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I have one from I think 2016. It's or 2015 it was.
'Cause I think this
When I was
shot. When was this? It was pretty nuts.
that was in
Right
yeah,
before
that was
nationals.
yeah, it was right before Nationals in September.
Okay, so this was around 5 6 weeks out.
No, no, this was probably 20. It's probably 8 weeks.
8 weeks out. So and you decided with the coach that you're not on schedule.
Yeah. It was like a lot of stress during that time that kind of hit me.
Yeah,
Like
with
mixed with
school maybe
with
or no.
just with
Mm,
like work stuff,
work stuff.
and
Yeah,
a few life things kind of came up. So we just thought it was just kind of best to pull back
back
and
off a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So definitely, your legs are your strongest point. I
mhm,
don't think they need more size. Definitely no, not more size,
no,
because otherwise, okay, you got a small waist. Um, Kind of reminds me of a big Rami,
yeah.
if I can say. Huge legs, tiny waist, thick chest, very good arms. Traps are there, and yeah, your weak parts is yeah probably what you said was your back
Hmm.
a little bit. I agree, but
There was
not
one
really,
transformation.
because yeah this leg is just ridiculous. Do you have any problems to get these in shape, depending on your upper body or?
I think the honestly, it's like I think it's just like bringing in my low back a little bit more,
Mhm.
to really show like those erectors, getting in shape. I think like I'll get dry back there, but I think again it's just building up thickness to really show like that detail.
So do
Yeah,
you have
so
any show photos on here or no?
um, from it's way I haven't competed since 2017, so it's got to go back. Got
Okay,
to go
let me
back a
see.
little ways. Um, there is one right there. That was I think Nationals might be no Eastern USA's right before Nationals.
Eastern USA, yeah.
Yeah, so I was a middleweight again. 100 and I think I weighed in 174 pounds. So yeah, it's been quite some time since I've prepped.
I don't even recognize you, man.
Yeah, small is with my
It's
father.
your pops, yeah.
Yeah,
How is he doing? Is he doing good?
yeah, he's good. He's just working. Business is actually pretty busy for him. Hasn't
Mm.
slowed down at all. So yeah, his everything's been wonderful.
Do you live by yourself or you still live at home?
No, I live by myself, but I don't live too far from my parents. I live about 15 to maybe almost, yeah, a little less than 20 minutes away. That was my first, one of my first national shows in
Jeez.
2016.
So what did people think when they saw this humongous form of a leg?
They told me to focus on upper body and stop training weights. They said stop
Yeah,
training
I
legs.
agree. I agree. Uh, they, I
Yeah,
think they grow really fast.
yeah, they are super fast. So yeah, yeah, I probably overtrained them when I first started
Oh,
bodybuilding.
yeah, 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 they are. So quite deep separation also.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it was probably, I think the time I was maybe 174 pounds there. Um, yeah, 176.
But the legs actually look harder than the upper body.
Hmm.
I,
And
I,
again,
I,
I sorry, go ahead.
I could imagine that it was around reverse, so that the upper body was a little bit more tighter than the lower body. But in
Yeah,
that shot, you look good, man.
I think that definitely attests to, the training that I was doing for
The
my legs
training,
at the
yeah, the
time,
intensity, yeah.
the intensity. But now, again, like as I getting older and focusing more on my training my upper body, just as intense I train my legs, that the detail and the thickness will come.
Yeah, I
So
agree. So the goal is to get your pro card, right?
yes, the goal is to get the pro card. Haven't nailed down the show just yet, but I'll be discussing that with my coach this week about the game plan for shows.
And then compete in the open, or
Over my end goal is to be an open bodybuilder.
Mhm.
But if the
So,
212
so how? Sorry, what
go ahead.
weight were you at? Like 8 weeks out in that shot. What was the weight then? You
Oh,
can
I was 238 or 239. So 239.
so 212 isn't really an option.
It'll probably be pushing it.
Yeah, pushing it too far probably. Okay, man. So I want to thank you to come on the show. Um, I think you're one of the best upcoming guys. I want to wish you the best of luck, and
Thank you.
definitely will follow your progress throughout the year. And maybe someday when we can fly back to the USA, we can join up again.
Sure, man. Yeah, you might catch me out there.
Eh,
I've been cooped up for too long, so I'll travel as much as I
did,
can.
did did you go to the Olympia or no?
No, I didn't get a chance to go to Olympia.
So what do you thought about the show?
Overall, I thought it was a good show. I think Ramy did look great. I think he definitely deserved the win there.
Hmm.
Um, but I really did thought that I could have seen William up a little bit higher, in my opinion. Maybe like
Yeah,
three, maybe like
mm,
third.
three,
Like
three, 4, 5
yeah, three,
was
four,
for
five
me.
was yeah. So, um, but that I think Ramy definitely solidified his spot as number one.
Yeah, I
So
think if William brings his legs a little bit more up
yeah, a
from
little bit more fullness.
yeah, a little bit more furnace, he will crack the top three for sure.
Yeah, I remember one of the Olympias I watched him. He was so thick. He came out for his
M-
routine,
Maybe
and
217, 18,
yeah,
I think.
he hit a most muscular, and it like
Yeah, the front
blew
legs. Yeah.
the doors off of
Mm,
everything. It was like
yeah.
it was a home run shot. So he like again like that muscularity and that thickness was to me was just something that made him so dominant or makes him
Yeah,
so dominant.
I agree. Yeah, but of course he got that injury in
Yeah,
2019, just five
yeah,
weeks out. So it's still there, but it's coming. It's
yeah.
coming. And
I know.
now he doesn't have to focus on the Arnold in March, so he has the
Good.
whole year off to get back to the level that he were. So
Hmm.
and I think definitely he could crack the top three then, because he, he
Exactly.
he really doesn't have any flawless. Maybe beside of his midsection a little bit.
Maybe to me, it's not really too much of a knock because it doesn't. It's not protruding to any like
No, and
distension.
definitely when his leg is getting bigger, it's
Makes it look.
less dominant. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he has the best back of the whole lineup,
Yeah.
probably.
Yes.
Separation, thickness, width.
Yeah. Latch tie like down to his waist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was really really good. The Phil comeback was nice. It was nice to see him come back.
Ah, I
Uh,
would like to see him came in a little bit better, but
yeah. It made for a good story.
I mean, I
And then for
would probably have him in fifth or something,
yeah, yeah,
fourth or fifth. But yeah, we'll see what this year will bring. I hope everybody stays healthy, of course.
exactly.
That's the main goal. And then I hope to see you compete this year, get your
Thank
pro
you.
card, and then cheer you up in a future show, man. I will
Yes, sir. I really do
cheer for you.
appreciate you having me on.
Yes, no
And
problem, man.
yeah, so
Thank
thank
you
you
for your
again.
time.
All right, Jeff. Take care, bud.
And say hi to your dad, man.
I will. I will. I'll let you know what he says. He'll probably hit you up on Instagram.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks, man. Have a good day.
All right, Jeff.
I'm off. Thanks.
Bye.
Peace.